I understood that I was an alcoholic from almost the first time that I drank. I didn't, I wouldn't have said it. I wouldn't have admitted it. But I certainly had an understanding of it to some degree or another. I did not drink socially. I did not drink. Um, I didn't go to bars. I didn't hang out with people. I didn't. I wasn't. I wasn't a social drinker even in the slightest. I um. I was an extreme athlete in drinking. I was jumping off cliffs, and not. I'm not talking literally. Although I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me if I did do that. But like, nonetheless, metaphorically speaking, I was taking it to the extreme. I was. There was something beyond drinking that I was exploring, and part of that was oblivion. I was a blackout drinker, and while I wasn't actively suicidal, if I had never woken up, that would never have bothered me. Obviously, I mean, but really, when I'd wake up from my blackout, I'd be like, "Here I am again," you know, "Here I am again," and I didn't like life. I didn't enjoy life in the beginning. There were joys that I experienced in life, but I didn't overall enjoy it. I actually, one of my biggest things that I used to say all the time was, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for this life. I didn't ask for it. I don't want it. What am I supposed to do with all of this crap? And uh and and drinking, at least in the very first time that I drank, certainly like got drunk, it was like a weight had been lifted from me. A lot of people will tell you that they had a spiritual experience with it, and I can agree with that. Actually, I'll never forget it. The first time I decided to go out and drink and like get drunk and try it, I went to a keg party and I brought my own glass, and it had a little gold rim around it. It said Bierteborg because I was a dork and loved things that were not normal. And so I wrapped this glass up and I took it to a keg party up in the woods. And I unwrapped it and I grabbed I got a drink from, or I got a glass from the keg, and I sat back and I drank it, and it didn't kill me or anything along those lines. And then I had another and another, and all of a sudden, you know, the people that I had gone to school with, who I was terrified of, because I was constantly thinking about what they were thinking about me, all of that just melted away. I suddenly didn't mind. I didn't mind what they were saying. I didn't mind jokes at my expense. I didn't mind laughing at myself. These were things that I could not do beforehand that meant the end of the world. And in this moment, it was like the world had opened up and I had found a solution, right? Literally a solution that was the solution. And I went for it. I was like, this is it. This is the answer. And I chased that answer for 5 years. I only drank for 5 years, from 18 to 23, and that was enough. And I had the sense that something was off very quickly because of how fast and hard I chased it. And it was right before I got sober that I was like, everybody was chiming in with their 2 cents about my life, of course. You know, people who cared about me wanted me to do better and to not be lost. They were worried I was going to die. I mean, quite frankly, I was putting myself in tremendously risky situations all the time. Just screw it, you know? And so there was just like this constant chirping from everyone around me, about what I was doing. And I wanted to shut them up. I wanted to tell them, see, I've got this. So I went in Oneonta, New York, I went into the old Spanish Tavern. It's on Main Street, or it was, I don't know, back then, and I ordered um, 2 Guinness black and tans. My Irish friend would hate that I call it that. I think they call them 50/50s there. Black and tan is actually really not a nice way of describing it. There's some history there. And so I ordered 2 50/50s and I drank them because I thought if I have 2 beers, I don't know what the magical number of 2 was, but if I had 2 beers, then everybody would see I've got control over it, and that would be that. And I drank those 2 beers and I went home. I didn't drink for the rest of the night. So there you go. You know, like ha 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 ha. Except I wanted to rip my hair out of my head. I wanted to drink so badly. I mean, I was insane when it came to that, and I realized I was like, oh, no, you got something going on that's not this ain't it. This is alcoholism. I understood in that moment that I was an alcoholic. I really did. Doesn't mean that I stopped drinking. I didn't. It was a few months later that I had my, moment of clarity where it just like stopped. Like I stopped. And but that the earmarks of my drinking, I didn't. There was an earmark that I didn't see then, that later on proved very valuable for me to look at, and that was anytime something made me feel just like I did that night, like I need to do it, like I have to do it, I have to. It's it's a terrible feeling to feel that kind of compulsion, where it's just like there's an urgency that exists within it, and it made me feel like a slave, and a slave to that thing. And that actually has become the banner mark to look for in my life about where the next change is potentially developing, is to look for those earmarks of that. And I'm very thankful to say that there are a lot of things that I've left behind that had those same kind of earmarks. I don't drink coffee the way that I used to. I used to drink it compulsively every day, all day long, just Jesus Christ. And I drink it, sometimes on the weekends, and and that's it pretty much, which is great. Smoking cigarettes was another one. Pornography, huge one that doesn't, or that's just becoming a talking point in our society, which is cool. Pornography is another one. I don't watch porn. I don't smoke cigarettes. I rarely drink coffee, and there's another one that's on. Sugar is terrible for me. I know it. I'm completely an addict. I've got that earmark. I feel a compulsion when it comes to sugar. It's like really hard for me. And so, but there's another aspect to this that kind of alleviates the concern, or it helps me understand how this works. That change occurs. Like I have to become aware of it first before the change will occur. And so when I become aware of these things, these compulsions, then it's almost like looking into the future, because that's actually the change that's about to occur in my life, if I'm just aware of it and open to it, which is really cool. So like even like I was harangued by alcoholism, I was harangued by my porn addiction, I was harangued by cigarettes, but now with sugar and like with coffee and things like that, I'm not harangued by it, because I understand, okay, this is part of the process of just kind of like becoming aware of my issues and opening myself up to, I'm ready to change when the change is supposed to occur. And that's dope. Like I love that. So it kind of like it's changed the whole relationship that I have to my addictions. I am no longer terrified of sugar addiction or whatever it is that I'm going to be addicted to, or become aware of my addiction to in the future. It's really cool. I'm very, very thankful for this process, and I like that. I like where I'm at with that, and I like how I see it nowadays, whereas back then it was much more difficult to handle and deal with.